Speaking of problems with ethnics, as far as like Chinese people, they tend to be a lot smarter than Americans. Not to say anything against Americans, but usually they would be put in like higher up classes and given a little less attention since they didn't really need it. But that's basically all I've seen in my high school. Well, usually you would see them sitting in the back, and they kind of just like converse amongst themselves. But I've never like had a teacher who wasn't able to communicate really. Like they understood, but it wasn't like that.
Like different groups of people. Like some people would speak like Spanish, and some people speak English, but like different different slang, I guess you could say. So then like other people wouldn't understand or anything like that. It was never really a problem. It's just, well, it kind of was. I mean, if I was walking by, I didn't know what someone was saying because they were speaking a different language. But other than that, it wasn't a big deal because I was so used to it.
The only problem I've ever seen is with certain teachers or certain groups, the accents of different ethnicities is harder to catch on to. So when you're trying to learn from someone, it takes longer, it's harder to learn from them, but eventually you get used to it. They would, if we had problems understanding, we'd ask them about it and they would write it on the board or something so we knew when they said something what that specific word actually was. If they had a problem pronouncing water, they would write the word water and then say it so we could relate the two words together.
Oh yes, I have seen racism in school. Kids say racist jokes to each other all the time.
My teacher, he was supposed to be teaching us about the what's it called? Like what the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. thing. And whenever his assassination came up, he looked at me and told me good riddance.
Wow.
And after that, I had in school quite a lot just to get out of the class. That's kind of the biggest thing that ever happened to me in high school.
Yes, I have seen different racial and ethnic problems through my career of education. Well, one time when I was in middle school, we had like a little ESOL program, and this teacher always kept getting smart with this one student saying that they're not going to understand anyway, so why are they taking the class because they're from Pakistan? And the teacher was like, I don't even know why you keep coming every day because you don't even understand me. You probably can't even understand what I'm saying right now. Needless to say, the teacher got fired really quickly. But, yeah.
Kind of like a racial, it's kind of like an unconscious segregation sometimes between students. Like you'll notice that even throughout certain groups and cliques, there's different, like most of the time different races tend to only hang out with their own races instead of, intertwining and integrating with other races. And also even when it comes to language, a few times if you find friends that only speak your language and you're a foreign student, you tend to only hang out with them as opposed to find other people to mingle with.
I've seen fights break out that were between white and black people sometimes, but not usually. I mean, not really. It's not really that much racism from where I come from, but it has happened.
Well, after 9/11, everyone had an opinion about Muslims, and we were kind of not taught, but it was a view that people were kind of against them in a way. But I had friends who were Muslim, so that didn't really affect me because I saw how they are, that they're Muslim, but they're not extreme. People still do bad things no matter what religion they are.
Back in high school, I went to high school in Virginia. We were all in a lunchroom at one point, and a African-American student stood up and was confronted by the police officer on campus. And before the African-American student ever had a chance to speak, the cop threw him up against the wall and handcuffed him behind his back and pretty roughly escorted him out of the cafeteria without ever really listening to him. And it definitely caught us all off guard. We weren't expecting it, and it definitely affected the way that the rest of the day went for the rest of the students.
How to see racial and ethnic approaches in my school, most like white people and black people, they try to stick together in their own plans. And
I went to predominantly African American and Hispanic type of school, and throughout the especially through high school, there was always fights between blacks and Puerto Ricans and things like that, and even to the point where the local school now had an incident where the community got involved because of troubles that they had with racial tensions within the school.
Back in high school, I did see a student call a teacher the N-word once, and he got kicked out of school. That happened.
No? Really? No.
Okay.
So I certainly think that affects the learning process significantly because kids are worried about fighting and everything else instead of worried about their education.
personally, no, because I stuck with the people I want to be my friends.